We surely love nature and all the good vibes it brings to us every time we come in contact with it, but let's be honest here, not everything about it is all love and peace. Let's just have a look at the animal kingdom and you'll realize it can get pretty wild out there. Today we're going to be looking at 10 animals that hate each other. Okay, I know, hate is maybe not the best word to describe these interactions, since animals don't feel the same way that we humans do. But these animals don't get along at all, and today we're gonna see why. And I'm not talking about your typical dog versus cat kind of fight, I'm talking about some of the craziest showdowns that you may not be aware of. Make sure you stay with me all the way to the number 1 pick. Trust me, when you see these two animals, you'll know you don't want to get in between them once they get into a fight. Without further ado, let's start looking at these animals. Our list starts underwater with very unexpected protagonists. Number 10. The ARCHERFISH and bug. When we think of animals hating each other, we probably don't think of fish right away. After all, these guys seem so peaceful and always mind their own dang business. In fact, they're the ones who have to run away from predators, and they are far from being the most aggressive living bugs in the underwater world. However, you'll be surprised to know that there's actually a group of fish that is actually looking for trouble. And those are the ARCHERFISH, part of the COYOTES genus, a kind of fish that you can find in Thailand and all around Southeast Asia. The ARCHERFISH are known for shooting water at insects, which causes them to fall into the water and become dinner for them. I would definitely hate the ARCHERFISH if I was one of those poor bugs. Number 9. Fence lizard and fire ants. Who would have thought that ants can take down a living lizard? Well, this is exactly what happens when unlucky fence lizards cross paths with groups of fierce fire ants. These 6mm long bugs are known to have killed 8cm long fence lizards in the southeastern part of the US. However, since these incidents become quite common, fence lizards have learned to shake the ants off and move to safer places. That's a great example of adaptation right there. In fact, some lizards that live surrounded by fire ants are now developing longer legs. It seems like the fight between these two animals is not going to end anytime soon, but at least the two sides are even. For now. Number 8. Wolves and coyotes. You ever been in a fight with people from your own family? Well, I hope you made peace with them afterwards. I mean, come on, they're family. Then again, we all do have our issues. The two animals I'm about to show you actually come from the same family, and they're not necessarily friendly to one another. They are the wolves and the coyotes, both coming from the family of dogs. While they do share a lot of features, they adapt to the environment in different ways. An example of this is the way in which they responded to human tolerance. When humans started to take over the land, coyotes started to run away and spread out. Wolves, on the other hand, decided to stay and interact. Wolves are also quite bigger than coyotes, so it makes sense that they're more fearless than their fellow canines. For that reason, there have been many cases in which wolves have attacked coyotes. It's been observed that sometimes wolves kill coyotes and still they just don't eat them. It's as if they're just trying to prove that they're more brave and powerful. But sometimes coyotes trail wolves just to get the source of food, hoping to go unnoticed. And I guess it's quite difficult to be the lesser strong one in this canine family tree, so you gotta be smarter. Number 7. Lions and hyenas. The next pair on this list is probably not a surprise to most of you. After all, the Lion King has done a great job at showing us that these two don't get along. At all. I'm talking about the lions and the hyenas. You can find these eternal enemies fighting with each other in the African savanna. It is evident that the two groups of animals are very territorial, and since they're both predators, they fight for dominance of the place where they're at. It's obvious that the lions are more likely to win any fight, but that doesn't make hyenas step back. Especially when they travel in clans of 25. Sometimes lions harass hyenas for absolutely no reason. Even though there's plenty of food for both groups, they're still pretty aggressive towards one another. Number 6. Blanket octopus and sharks. And now back in the underwater world, we have the blanket octopus and a shark. It's not surprising to have the blanket octopus here. I mean, after all, this beast has a lot of surprising features that you can't find in other animals. Just have a look at the way they respond to shark attacks, for instance. While most of us and almost every fish underwater would run away from a shark, the blanket octopus detaches one of its arms to distract the threatening predator, and just like that, the scene is set for the octopus to rat the shark with its remaining arms. If you see this octopus, you might mistake it for a blanket at first, and that's because the female species of this kind has something like a cape interwebbed between her arms, which gives her the appearance of a blanket. Maybe that's why it's so easy for them to trap sharks. I'm sure they didn't expect such an attack from an animal that looks so inoffensive and tasty. Number 5. Sharks and dolphins. Once again, we have another animal that doesn't get along with sharks, the dolphins. And while you might be fond of dolphins and how friendly they are to us humans, they're quite a threat to sharks. In fact, a shark will likely stay away and go to a different way if it comes across a dolphin. If these two do get into a fight, the dolphins have a lot of advantages due to their speed and flexibility. Dolphins also have very strong snouts that make some serious damage to the sharks' bellies. The reason why the belly is because the dolphins primarily attack them from below. Some sharks like to mess with baby dolphins, but doing such a thing usually ends in some revenge by a greater pot of adult dolphins. Also, dolphins will defend humans when sharks come to attack them. Whoever messes with a dolphin or its friends is automatically an enemy to them, and it seems like sharks don't have a lot of friends down there. Number 4. The mantis shrimp and clams. The mantis shrimp with its vibrant colors is one that you would maybe like to put in your fish tank and keep as a pet. But don't let its size fool you, this animal has the ability to attack with the force of a bullet in its quick, sharp claws. It's actually pretty deadly. They keep their club folded against their bodies, ready to release them and crush any prey that might cross their path. For that reason, clams are not a huge fan of them. In fact, it seems like everyone wants to stay away from them. It's even dangerous to have them at an aquarium, as they could break the glass with their shattering blow. It's no wonder it's called the thumb splitter. The mantis shrimp may not have a lot of friends, and we can clearly see why, especially since it likes to eat the clams. Number 3. Bees and wasps. Even the smallest animals can have conflicts amongst them. That's the case of bees and wasps, two very similar animals that don't get along at all. Let's start by pointing out that wasps are bullies. They break into the beehives to steal their honey. Bees, however, don't just stand there and watch. When they identify a wasp in their territory, many of them gather around the intruder and raise their body temperature. That may seem a little strange to you, however, they can raise their body temperature to 104 degrees Fahrenheit, making it so hot that the wasp ends up getting cooked. While bees are very good at defending themselves, wasps still threaten them. I guess it does make sense, since after all, wasps are bigger than bees. Wasps will even kill and eat honeybees if it gets them even more food. And the same goes for hornets in their interactions with bees. In Asia, there's a species of hornet so big that it works in groups of 30 or so to attack bees and take over their beehive after eating all of its inhabitants. I suppose technically there should be a bees and wasps and hornets entry, but well, either way, who knew that insects could be just so aggressive? Now it's time for the day's best pick. After having a look at some of the wildest showdowns in nature, it's become quite obvious that the main reason for competition amongst animals is the fight for territory. The picture I'm showing you today is of two animals that can live in the water and on land, but they don't get along quite so well, and, well, you might even remember it from other videos in which animals saved other animals. I'm talking about hippos and crocodiles. In a previous video, I talked about a hippo that saved a deer from a crocodile attack. And honestly, you should probably check that out because it's also chock full of fun facts, link. Alright, enough advertisement. Let's have a look at some of the ways these two hate each other. Number 2. Hippos and crocs. It only takes one look at the Nile River to realize how bad crocodiles can be. They're one of the most dangerous animals out there, responsible for around 700 attacks per year. However, hippos are really the ones to watch out for. They're known to be more aggressive and dangerous than crocs, and they can easily capsize any boat and kill any intruder that steps into their territory. For that reason, in environments where two animals have to coexist, crocodiles know it's better to leave hippos alone. They don't even mess with the baby hippos, as they know that these animals can kick them out of their habitat without a problem. In fact, crocodiles sometimes become chewing toys for baby hippos. No one wants to get on a mom's bad side, especially when we're talking about mommy hippos. With all their teeth and incredible speed, crocodiles have no other choice other than respecting the hippos.
I saved the best for last, but first, I have a quick challenge that takes only 5 seconds to complete. If you can leave a like and subscribe within the next 5 seconds, you'll get 10 years of amazing luck. Just try it, it really works.
Number 1. Meerkats and drongo birds. With a list so impressive like this one, it only makes sense to have some exotic pairs of animals at the top. And to give you a bit of a perspective, let me ask you some questions. Remember those kids who always got their lunch stolen? You one of those kids? Well, if not, let me ask, how do you feel about people who steal other people's food? Pretty upsetting, am I right? Well, I'm sure these bullies have quite a few enemies during lunchtime, and today I'm going to show you an example in nature that mimics the exact situation. I'm talking, of course, about the meerkats and they're technically thieves and liars, which makes them one of the biggest bullies out there. And that is all for today. I know animals do not behave in the same way humans do, but this list makes it seem like there are some pretty big issues out there. What animals on this list were the most surprising to you? Let us know in the comment section down below. With all that said and done, I will see you all next time, and have a good day.